Hello, welcome to the full-length version Revit tutorial. In this video, I'm going to take you through click by click through the entire assignment, which is this. We're going to be modeling this house, starting off pretty basic, couple floor plans. So let's go. Here's Revit. I'm going to start with a new project. Click on Architecture Template. Hit OK. Here comes the workspace. We're going to draw right in here, in between these elevation views. And let's see, got our properties, project browser. Kind of skipping over the general intro here, and we're going to get right to work. What we're going to start drawing and work on the foundation plan, kind of modeling this digitally here. Start with a wall, right? So go to Architecture tab. Wall offers up many walls. I'm going to go with a generic 12-inch wall. Base constraint is level 1. Top constraint will be level 2. Hit apply here. The location line, we're going to use finish face exterior. And using the line tool, start here. First dimension is 36 feet to the right. Simply enter 36 and then enter. No need for feet in Revit. I'm going to come down the line here, 7'4". Out 6 feet. Down 12 feet. Over 6 feet. So you'll see in Revit it has a built-in tracking mechanism similar to CAD. Let's see. Here's 32, so I'm going to type in 32 inches, 2'8". Enter. I'll bring this back around till it's tracking and telling me I'm going to intersect with this wall. Bring it back up. And holding the middle mouse wheel down, I'm going to pan around. That basically looks like the shape, so let's see, I'm moving my plan around on the other screen. So we'll draw things in 2D and immediately go to our 3D view up here. This is how we'll get to 3D view and check progress. So holding my middle mouse wheel down is pan, middle mouse wheel. I'm going to hold shift. This is orbit. Alright, let's go back to level 1. Here's what we have. Matter of fact, we're going to go now to the elevation. So following along with the tutorial, looks like page 6. We'll go to the east elevation over here in your project browser. Under elevations, click east. This is what I'm looking at. So we'll change these levels. Here are our levels. Simply by clicking on them. We'll name this basement plan, and we would like to name corresponding views. That means our floor plan is going to change. So while I do this, keep your eye on level 2 and watch this. We'll change level 2 to, so I'm just double clicking on that text. First floor plan, and we want, so over here it should automatically update. Now this is called first floor plan. Additionally, let's change this text here to from 10 to 9 feet. That keeps jumping on me. So change this to 9 feet. Again, I'm just simply double clicking that text. So since we told our walls to go up to level 2, which is now first floor plan, we attach them. Anytime we move this level, the walls will come with it. Alright, back to the now basement plan. And what we want to do now, we'll add some footings. So we'll add some footings, but first we need to make a graphic or visual adjustment here, and that's the how far Revit is seeing down past the basement level. So that's view range. we're going to edit view range. Change this to unlimited, view depth, and bottom unlimited. So what this does now is, of course, the footing is going to be below, underneath the wall. Revit was just set up to view to this point, the basement. We told Revit to now keep viewing, look further past so we can see our footing. So up here in structure, we're going to add a footing. This is wall footing or structural footing. The default that comes up, 36 by 12, let's go with that. And now we're simply clicking walls. Click all the walls till don't forget this guy here. Right? Go all the way around till it completes the perimeter. Check it out in the 3D view. Pan around, all my footings are there. You can go under the house. Let's see, what does the tutorial say next? Looks like we'll make some graphic adjustments. Let's add a floor first. Let's do that. So we'll go back to basement plan, and we're in the structure tab here. I'll go to slab. The default is 6-inch. The 6-inch slab and the footing are both pretty substantial for this size house. Just note that the 4-inch slab would probably do fine. So we went to slab boundary line. Here's what I'm going to do is trace the inside perimeter of this concrete wall. All right, concrete wall is there. It's probably a gravel base in here. And then we come and pour this slab up against the wall. Make sure you complete the perimeter. And then check the green check. There's my floor. Go to 3D and take a look. There's the floor. If you can't select a face, this button here allows you to select a face. Otherwise, this allows us to select edges. I click on the face, nothing happens. Click on this. Now I can select the face. Alright, back to basement plan. There are a few. Architecture convention tells us that the footing should be dashed, and we never show a pattern on a concrete footing, and we don't really want to show a pattern here. So here's what we'll do with this floor. I clicked on it. I'm going to right click, override graphics in view by element, and I want to make this transparent. Surface transparency. Oh, and while I'm there, right click, override graphics in view by element. We don't want a surface pattern on there. That would just muddy up this drawing. We like to keep our drawings as simple as possible. This concrete span direction thing, annotation, it's not really doing us any justice, so we'll right click over it, hide in view by element. This is an important symbol, but for this drawing, this is not an actual structural slab. It's not really spanning or supporting itself, really. Alright, so what I'm trying to do now, select the footings. So to add a selection in Revit, I'm going to hold the control key. See this plus sign pop up? And then I can continue to add selections. Footings. So I select all the footings. Same thing, right click, override graphics in view by element. We could have done category here. Troubleshooting this lesson, category didn't work on footings. Let's go to projection lines. I'm going to put this to 2. You could do it at 1. The pattern, by trying out all these, I like dashed 1/16 the best. I thought that was most appropriate. So we still have the surface pattern on there. We want to uncheck visible, right? Let's make that pattern disappear. Okay, now we're looking at something that resembles pretty standard foundation plan. Wall, footing. So that's about the way it should look. Says architecture convention and graphics. Take a look around. Everything looks good. So what I'm looking at here is everything in its place, height-wise. Is anything out of alignment? Everything looks good so far. Back to the basement plan. I'm checking in on the lesson, and here's what we'll do next. Let's make a section through our basement, and we'll check the levels and slab, check everything out. So here's section. It looks like a section call out. I'm going to left click at the top of the screen, drag this out, left click at the bottom. So I'll click on this again. Here's a break line, and I'll pull this out of the building. I don't usually, well, I don't ever really run this section line through the building. So this is an annotation or symbol that can stay, and since we're thinking about setup already, I'm going to change the scale to 3/16 of an inch. That'll be our plot scale for all these drawings. So that just created a section. What we did there is not just annotation, that actually generated a section in here in our project browser called section 1. We click on it. That's what's happening through that building where we cut it. I'm going to change this to 3/16, even though we may not issue this drawing. Then I'll click on the slab. Looking at the slab, of course, belongs on top of the footing, not cut into the footing. So I'm going to try and select it. Select the slab. And so we want to put it, it's a 6-inch slab. We want to put it 6 inches above the footing level. So I'm just going to type 6 inches height offset from level is what that says. And you see the slab just jumped up from down here to up here. And that's where it should be. That's where it belongs. So the tutorial now takes us through putting a first floor on this, which is a pretty nice, easy step. So I just want to look at, I'm clicking here on first floor in the floor plans project browser. Now, doing this in lab, there are some cases where this basement plan did not appear. So what I'm seeing is the basement plan below the first floor. We'll use this for now to trace to make our first floor. But if you don't see this, we did a couple of things to troubleshoot. The range base level, so I'm here in project properties, or scroll down to base level. Where was that? Underlay, range base level. We want to see on the basement plan. Later on we'll turn this off and we won't see anything. But for now we need to know where the floor goes, so we'll keep that on. So if you do that, and your view range here, so I'm on the first floor, view range is on unlimited and unlimited. And you still don't see this plan. To fix that glitch, here's how. Just delete this level. Get rid of it. This was a very in a few cases this happened. So if this happens to you, I'm going to copy this level up is what I'm doing. So I'm using copy here. I selected the level. Went to copy. Same concept as the base point in CAD. Moved it up some. Now I'm going to rename this first floor plan. Now again, if you saw your basement plan, you don't need to do this. This is for that rare case of those who didn't see it. Then here's so we have to now add that view. So we'll go up here to View, Plan Views, Floor Plan, and we just added that. Alright, so here we're not seeing it, and so we'll add the basement plan as the underlay. right here, basement plan. There it is. Okay, so now back to work for everyone that does see this. First floor plan, let's add the actual floor deck. So I'm going to go to architecture, floor. We'll use the 12-inch generic floor that it's offering. Use a boundary line. Now here, with this floor, we want to trace the exterior of the basement walls, because the floor is going to sit on bare on these walls. So I'm going to go all the way around, hit the green check. There's my first floor plan. It's at first floor level. Let's see what this looks like in 3D. So what I'm looking at here, I must not have, when I erased the level 1, these walls were attached to it. Now they're kind of not attached. So I'm going to select these walls and attach to the floor. So now these walls are stuck to this floor. I can move this floor up. Walls are going to come up with it. That was out of alignment. So here's where we're at so far. First floor is on. We're ready to add exterior walls, but let's take a side step and finish up a sheet. Let's get a sheet done and finished so we can see one all the way through to the end. So this is the sheet we'll create. Let's just go for this finished product and call it done. Basement plan looks pretty good. So what we need on each of these sheets are dimensions at a minimum. Click on annotate. Here's a line dimension. Let's go to wall faces and individual references. So aligned, we're in annotate, aligned, dimension, and here's what I'm going to click. I want to dimension this wall, so I'm going to click this line and this line. Move that dimension up, another left click, nail it down. Just a reminder, my plan is 3/16. So let's keep doing dimensions here. Once I click this once, I like aligned dimensions. I just keep going. Revit executes that command and then gets you set up for the next command. You can also do chains. I'm not actually doing that. So what I'm saying is just keep clicking. This is not my dimension string, but you can just keep going down the line clicking. But since we're only doing this one, there's that. Right. So I think we got everything. We're missing one here, so we can put that there. So that's a finished basement plan for this set. Now let's get it onto a sheet. I'll scroll down in my project browser, select, then right click on sheets. We'll go to new sheet. The sheet we want, the title block we want, is not offered, so we'll go to get it, go load it. Here's Revit's families, folders of families. We'll open up title blocks. We want B, 11 by 17, and hit OK. There's our title block. You can simply click to add text anywhere on this. In the event we get too clickety on this, and this happens, this means you're simply editing the title block, which is alright. That would be a double click from the other window. So let's just go back to this. So we would have missed the text or hit the line, or if you intentionally do this, you'll double click anywhere on this title block and it brings it to the family where we can edit it. Since we're here, let's edit it. Let's get rid of that Autodesk tag and maybe put your name over there or something. When we're done, load it back into the project. It'll ask you want to overwrite the existing. Sure, we'll get that Autodesk tag off of there. So here's this exercise we'll repeat a few times. in my project browser, simply taking the word basement plan, dragging it onto the sheet, letting go, and now I'm positioning it, and another left click. I just double left click on accident, so I right click and deactivate view. So I'm moving this on. Now when I select this, I can use my arrow keys to nudge this around. Revit allows you to kind of nudge the position of things, the arrows. So if we were to compare this to a viewport in AutoCAD, it's actually called a viewport. I'm going to double click in here. Now I can work on my model. I right click and deactivate. Here's your title. It comes in way down here. I'm just going to left click, grab it, and go. Now we just click this, bring it up here. We can use the arrows. So we need to bring the end of it in. The moment we click on this viewport, watch the end of this line. Grip presents itself. We'll pull that in. Maybe go about there. So we're left with the elevation tags hanging out on our drawing. Now I'm not sure the elevation tags would affect the print, but other objects I've seen will. So let's go ahead. Let's take this a little bit further. I'm going to double click. So I'm essentially in my basement plan now, like this. Two buttons down here that deal with viewports. One hides it and shows it. The other one actually crops. So I'm gonna, when I click on it, I'll pull these grips down. So that's one way of getting rid of or cropping, what you don't want. So we'll hide it. Here's turn it on or off. We want it on. Go back to our sheet. I have to expand my sheets category. This will be called first floor, actually basement plan. Alright. So there it is. That's a finished sheet. That's a completed sheet. Not too bad. So let's move on to the first floor plan now. Here's where we left off. First floor deck is on. We'll go to the first floor plan. So I'm still looking at my foundation plan. Don't need to really see that anymore as the underlay. So we'll go down here and turn that off. We're in underlay. Let's set that to none. Hit apply. Alright. I'm going to right click and hide this. So I left click, then right click. Hide in view. Elements. I should have done category. So exterior walls, that's what's next. 6-inch walls. So we'll go to architecture, wall. Let's see what we have here. We can of course create any wall we want with any assembly. But I think there's a generic 6-inch wall. Where are you? There it is. So we'll use this one. Well, we'll connect this to a level later, but let's call it 8 feet for now. You can also make that adjustment here. Finished face exterior, sounds good. So we'll start at a certain point and go clockwise. I'm using the line tool. So again, architecture, wall, and then brings you here. So use the line tool, clicking the corners. Make sure that this wall, turns the corner at the corner, doesn't hang off the corner. And again, we'll go to the 3D view, check it out, looks good. So square up on some of your 3D views. Make sure you don't have anything hanging over, that your levels are stacked up, nice and aligned. So back to the first floor plan. Let's take a look at this, see what we're getting into here. So there it is. That's the first floor complete. A lot of space around here. We're going to add a deck in later lessons. And if you're not familiar with this house and wondering what this is a stairwell that we're carving out for the stair we'll probably put in next week. So let's start to draw this plan. I'm going to hide this and model this on my other screen, from my other screen here. So we'll go to wall, architecture wall. Let's use a, we could use this one. But since our plan is showing 4.5-inch walls, it's actually showing 6-inch walls too. I'm sorry, 5.5. So we're not showing the sheathing there. Let's change that. So I wanted to show you how to change and modify walls. So I'm going to click on a wall and edit its type. I'm going to rename this to generic exterior wall. So, and then we're going to change its thickness. So right here in structure, let's edit. We'll edit the thickness to 5.5 inches. So this is just a single layer. We could add sheetrock, sheathing, anything we want. So edit 5.5, hit OK. So all these walls just got skinnier. So to make sure they move the right way, that 1/2 inch, I'm going to go ahead and dimension this plan. So this has to be done anyway, and now would be a good time to check it. Alright, well, now that I'm here, we'll set this to 3/16. Revit is much more forgiving in terms of scale and dimensions. So we're going to do a similar exercise because we need a 4.5-inch wall. So I went to architecture, wall. This is what came up. I'm going to edit type from the one we just created. This time I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to call this generic interior wall. And we're going to edit its construction, structure, thickness. Let's call this 4.5 inches. So what would that be? A 2x4 stud with 1/2-inch gypsum wallboard on both sides. Alright, looking at the layout. Here's how I go about the layout. You may have a different way or different tactics. This is what I do. I see a wall here, so I know I'm going to put a wall here. On our plan, that might even be a 6-inch wall. Let's keep it a 4-inch wall for now. Then somewhere around here I have a hallway. So I'm going to put 2 lines here. I'm going to put a line over here. So I'm eyeballing. I'm basically estimating what I'm seeing here. And we'll wait on that wall. So looking at, I'm going to click on this wall. And using these dimensions, I mean, I have to permanently dimension this anyway later, but just look at this exercise. I'm going to grab this grip, bring it up to here. So it's snapped to the center, but I want to move it to the face. I'm clicking these dots. Click this dot, and you'll see these dimensions jump from center to face to face. So I selected that wall. This dimension in here needs to be 10'8". I'm simply going to type it in here. So that's one way to do it. Let's put some dimensions where we need them. Since I have a given plan with dimensions, I'm just going to put these in. So it's not making sense, but we're going to adjust it to make sense in just a minute. There's that. Alright, so this wall and this wall are in a fixed place. We like that. Now let's change this wall. So what I just double clicked on accident. So I clicked on this wall, and we want 3'7" according to the plan, 3'7½". So I'll click on the dimension and change that dimension to 3'7½". Then hopefully this dimension checks out, and it does exactly 6'0½". Let's work this way. Our plan says this clear distance in here is 9'0½". So to change this dimension, you can't just change the dimension. You have to move the wall. So we'll select the wall first. Change this to 9'0", space 1/2 inch. There's that. Alright, working our way around. This wall comes down here. I see an opening in here. Let's call that a 4-foot opening. Then we'll draw this. The refrigerator is going to go here. Then let's work on this area. So let's get back to Revit. A couple ways we can do this. This tool, there's a split tool, split element. So I'll click this, and I'm trying to line this up with my wall. This is very oftentimes not successfully accurate, so I'll come back and adjust it. And then I'll just delete it. There are other tools you can split with gap. So what I end up with, sometimes I'll have to just modify that. So let's see how big this opening is. 3'5½". So I'm not really sure what this is. What is 3'6"? That looks about right. Let's put it at 3'6". There it is. Okay. So going back and forth, looking at this, looking at my plan, here's where the refrigerator wall is going to go. Let's see. So I'll just put a dimension on it so I can move this around. 2.7. Plan showing 2.6. You know, when I select on these walls, always a grip will come up, and this is the grip, and I can just drag the wall wherever I want it. Alright. We'll keep that there. Alright, moving this way. So again, I'm placing walls about where I think they go. And I get an idea of it. So one is there, that's the water closet and closet wall. Have one here. Actually, let's do this a little different. Put a dimension on this. 5'3" this should be. Move this over. So, you know, we want to click on this wall. Change the dimension. So this will be 5'3". Then, so my mouse double clicks a lot, really fast. So if you see screens come up and I'm just knocking them down, that's what's happening. A very fast mouse. So let's copy this wall. It's going to go over 3'5" plus 4.5 inches. So let's just try this. 3'9.5" inches. We'll see what happens. Put a dimension here. We have to dimension this anyway. Alright, so that worked. 3'5". This is where the stair opening starts. Looks like this is a hard corner. Let's see. Let's bring that floor plan up again. So where I'm at is here. Alright, let's work on this area. If you remember chamfer from AutoCAD, Revit's version is this. Trim, extend a corner. Click this. So I'm clicking inside for that result. Alright, so this is the stair. We're looking at 3-foot opening, 3.8, 3.0. Let's copy this wall over. So it would be 3 foot clear, plus we have a 4.5 inch wall there. So that's 40.5 inches, I think. Go to annotate, put a dimension on. I want to check this as we go. 3 feet. Then we have a wall, 3.8 clear in the closet, pantry, and then another 3 feet. Oops. So here we have 3.8 plus a 4.5 inch wall, so that's 48.5. I think. Let's see. Put dimension on there. Exactly. So here I'm going to copy this wall using base points, right? So this is the same as CAD in terms of base points. So since I knew it was this distance before, we'll copy it over that distance again. Another thing is when I click on this wall, this symbol here makes this dimension temporary. So when I click on it, that dimension stays. Now, watch where these, I guess, witness lines go to. We can click to put them in the right place. Right about there. Let's get that out of our way for a sec. These walls don't come all the way down here. There's a pantry wall. One here. Actually, there's one here too. Right here. So I drew this is not right. I'm going to use the alignment tool. So I'll go to modify in the ribbon. It's a good tool to have. Here's a line. I want this wall to align with this wall. So I click this wall first, the source or destination. And then I click this wall. And it brings it down to it. So now these walls align. Like our dimensions in a nice row, lined up across the plan. Here's where I'll use trim extend a corner. Clicking inside. Alright. So I'm not sure what we have in here. We know it's at least 3 feet. That's the stair width minimum. Showing 3.6 here for now. Let's make this, let's make it an even 3.6. If we have to change it later, that's okay. Let's finish the dimension string. Let's see what we come up with. 14. So missing an inch somewhere. Let's see. Alright, well, we'll have to kind of go with that discrepancy for the time. It's 1 inch. We'll look for it later. Looks like all this checks out. Let's see if our walls are in fact 5.5. Yep. See if these are 4.5. Yep. See if we got a 6-inch wall that snuck in here somehow. Alright. So let's just go with that for now. Alright, dimensions. What else do we have? Let's do simply, well, let's do windows. Alright. On Vanco Hall, we're issuing a plan and window schedule. So here's where you're going to get your window sizes. So we'll refer to this and make or insert windows. So you're not responsible for this. You don't have to draw that. So window number 1. Here's window number 1. You don't have to put these tags in either yet. Window number 1 is a double hung window. It's 3 feet by 6 feet. 3 feet wide, 6 feet tall. So let's go to architecture, window. All Revit is offering up now is a fixed window. We'll make one of the special one of those later. So let's load the family because we need a new window. So we're going to load family. Here's Revit's family folders of families. I'm going to click Windows. We want a double hung. Let's go double hung with trim, but make sure that we're going to put the trim on the outside casing. So what do we have here? We wanted, so they have our size. This is good. We can go with this stock Revit size, 36 by 72. This one is in the den. I'm just going to plop it down here. You can see these dimensions as I place this. I'm going to permanently place it. Now looking at this window, if you see how mine is offset towards the inside, we want to flip that direction to the outside, I believe, to make sure it's the right. So this is not right. So a double hung window, the outermost sash is always on top so water doesn't drip in here. So we'll go to the floor plan, click on the window. Oops. So again, my clickety mouse double clicked and went in to edit that. Here's a direction tool, so we flip the window. Now mine is favoring the interior. Let's see if that's right. So that is right. That's the way a double hung should be. So right from here, or the plan, doesn't matter. I'm going to select the window. We're going to put the head height at 6'8", 80 inches. So it'll be low to the ground, this thing. 80-inch head height. That's going to be on all the windows. Let's dimension this. We'll go to Annotate, Aligned. It'll go to the center of the window, to the wall. So I have to relayer my dimensions. We'll put this up. Put this up. So the plan says this window is 5'3" out of the corner. Click on. Sorry about that. We'll click on the window, and we'll change that text to 5'3". So there's placing a window. Let's look at window number 2. Not this one, but this one. Window 2 is a double. It's a double awning. It's 6 feet wide, 3 feet tall. Since it's a double awning, it's actually a single unit, will be 3 feet wide, 3 feet tall, 36 by 36 awning. So let's go get an awning. We'll go to Insert, Load Family, Windows. So here's an awning with trim. Let's grab that. So we have an awning with trim. Go to Architecture. So nothing happened, but it's here. Window, awning with trim. Do they offer the size we want? I don't see it. So we'll make it. With this selected, right? With this window selected, Architecture, Window, we'll go to Edit Type, and we'll duplicate this window, and we'll make one that's 36 by 36. So I went to duplicate, I renamed it, and here's where we'll adjust the size. Height, 3 feet. Width, 3 feet. Hit OK. Put this here. I'm going to click on it. Change the head height to 80 inches, 6'8". Let's make sure, so this is going over the kitchen counter. Let's make sure it's at least 3'8". Okay. So the plan is telling us that we're 3'7". Pardon, check that, 9'7" to the edge of the window from the center of that window. So here again, I'll click the window. I can nudge this window too, using arrow keys, until I get to 9'7". As I zoom in, the clicks get smaller. So there it is, 9'7". This is a double window. I'm going to copy this over. So here's copy. We also have mirror. Copy is the same thing as from AutoCAD. We'll choose a base point. and nail it down there. Alright, there's window number 2. Let's take a peek at our 3D view, see how this is going. Alright, not bad. Let's look at doors. So I may leave you the rest of the windows to finish on your own. 3 types of doors. Pretty generic interior door. Let's go to architecture, door. We'll go 30-inch on these couple of. So I'm going to select single flush. That's the only one we have. 30 inches. See if one fits in the pantry. That's good, but the wrong swing. So I'm going to click that direction arrow to reverse the swing. Put one here in the closet, one in the water closet. These all seem to be falling right into place for me. We'll put a 3-foot door here coming in from the entry. Alright, looks pretty good. Now there are a few doors we need, so we'll insert them. Load family. Doors, residential. So the first one on my list is the first one we need. This is a bi-parting French door. Let's go for 6 foot by 6 foot 8. Hit that. So it's in here. We'll go to architecture, door. Usually jumps to the very last one you load it up. This wants to swing inside. So I place it, then I'll click on it. Looking at the dimension, I'm clicking this dot so it's to the exterior. To the interior, that dimension is looks like 4'6". So I just type in 4.5, enter. Let's see. So I wonder if mirror will work here. And click on the door and use this tool, mirror. So that's good. This wall still has a center line. Here it is, midpoint. And I'll stretch the mouse out to the left. It's a very similar command as you see in AutoCAD. Or you could copy or place the door. Let's take a look at everything. Okay, not bad. Got doors, windows, they're all at the right height. Everything's looking good so far. One thing to be careful of is, you look at this side so you don't have any walls sticking high or low. Alright, let's go back to the floor plan. We have one more door to enter. We'll put an exterior door here. Exterior door here. So we want to load that one. We don't have it. Let's get it. So doors, residential. As soon as I click on these, I can see it. You can also view icons. Let's see, view large icons. Take your pick. You want arch or you want the square. I might go with this one. You can pick whatever one you want. Exterior doors, residence usually always 36 inches. Not by, let's go with 6'8", not 7 feet. So 36 by 80, that's 3 feet by 6 foot 8. Architecture, door, there it is for us right away. So I'm just hovering the mouse back and forth. Put this here. That's the wrong swing. So I'll click on it, use this direction arrow to flip it around. So that's doors. So we have doors and windows. If I forgot a few, I'll leave that to you to finish. I think we got them all. Let's look at the first floor plan. So we're getting there. I think next all we have is labels. So let's add some labels. I'll click on text and click the A. We want 330 seconds. So this is 2 clicks. 2 left clicks. Call this dining. We want to underline room titles. I put a box around mine. We won't get into that. But I mean, if you want to, you can if you can figure it out. I'm not going to show you here. Call this kitchen. So you could keep going today, or we can copy this, clicking on it to edit. So living. Okay. Alright, we get the idea on labels. You have a few more to go. Closet entry. So not bad getting there. Let's put it on a sheet. I'll right click on sheets in my project browser, go to new sheet. We'll go with that 11 by 17 horizontal border. This will be this is A2. You can name this here, or you can name it here. Either place you name it, it'll change in the other place at the same time. Don't need the feet. There we go. So first floor plan from your project browser. Now don't make this mistake. Under ceiling plans are the same sometimes plans that you see here. You could easily click on that by mistake. So I just collapse mine. So we're going to drag this word from the project browser onto the sheet. And one more left click. Pulling this down. I could move title block. So I'm nudging this with the arrows. Right about there. Picking this, you don't want to pick the viewport, you want to kind of just highlight and pick that and go. Clicking on the viewport anywhere, this shows up, this grip. I'll pull that in. Let's see. I can even drag this. Right there. So I do a few different things. Sometimes I'll run this title all the way across. Sometimes I'll cut it back there. Depends what I'm looking at. Alright, so let's look at this finished sheet. We're close. So what do we have here? First floor plan complete. Okay, so we have the window tags on here. And some dimensions. So you get all the dimensions on here. I'm leaving you with a few windows to do. This one is a weird window. Let's actually do window number 3. Because it's a high window. It's not very tall. And I want to make sure it's within your view range for where your cut is. So what number was that? That's number 3. 3 is 108 inches. So that's about a 36-inch window. Let's go with 36. We'll go to. It's actually a fixed window. Number 3 is a fixed transom. So we have a fixed in here. I don't know if they are giving us a transom in this library. Let's see. Yeah, alright, so let's go with transom. We'll pick that. Let's see. Let's see if they have 30s. So they actually have the one we need. We don't have to change it. 36 by 18. Let's go with that. I'm going to put one down. So I don't see it. That's what I had worried about. It's high. Maybe we'll put it in the right position. Click on this, putting it at my head height at 80 inches. Sill height. So it looks like I just collapsed one of these. There we go. 80 inches. Now let's see if we see it. So we're barely seeing this thing. So what that tells me, the cut line is too low. So I'm going to scroll down to view range, and this allows me to pick where I want my cut plane. So if I put my cut plane, this is very typical 4 feet. Let's try it at 5 to see if we can show. There it is. So we're showing the window a little bit. Let's try it at 5'2". So I don't like the way it's being cut. It's not really cutting that wall yet. You know, we're kind of pushing it here with the height of this cut line. It is typically 3 or 4 feet. In this kind of tricky instance, I'm trying to include this, right? So what I'm telling Revit is, where does it cut the floor plan? I'll illustrate this by this tool called section box. So as I pull this down, see, we were here, and that was our initial cut, or somewhere around 4 feet, where we could see these windows, couldn't see this one. So what we just did is move that cut plane up to include that. So essentially, we're cutting the plan, looking down at it. That's all a floor plan is. Alright, so we have 3 of these. I'm going to copy that one again. So there's 7.5 out of this. I might just draw a line. 7'5.5", and move the whole bunch of them over to that line. Get rid of these. I just use these for reference. Alright, so I was curious about that. I'm glad we looked at that window. So looking around, the rest is pretty standard. You've now seen everything. We put this on a sheet. Yep. Looks pretty good. You know, I'm always constantly tuning, adjusting. One of the things that I do to better the image quality, these windows are cut too dark, in my opinion. I'll right click on, or click them, I'll select them, right click, override graphics in view by element, and I want to make their cut lines number 1 weight. To me, that looks much better. You have the wall is thick, it breaks for the window. You know, you're seeing a little bit of the sill or projection lines. So there it is. Let's just finish this assignment up. We'll make one more sheet, 11 by 17. We'll call this our 3D view. And for this one, we're simply just dragging the 3D view, which is this. So let's get this looking like something. Turn off my section box. I'll hit the corner of the cube, get a nice ISO view out of this. This is a nice view. Kind of tells a lot of the story in one view. Click on our 3D view sheet, drag the word 3D onto the sheet from the project browser. This looks a little itty bitty on the screen. Let's make this bigger. Alright, so this just happens really as we progress with the model. This will automatically progress with it. So not much effort goes into this. You'll check on it for graphics occasionally, but this is just going to extraneously kind of happen for you. So that's it. 3 sheets, and this is a done finished sheet. If you gave me this, I would call that 100. We're pretty close. First floor, that's your finished sheet there. Oh, one last thing is this. Actually, disregard. We'll do the window tags at a later date. So this will be considered your finished sheet. Clean up the dimensions, spend some time on placement. You know, don't put a dimension like right over the door. try and place these carefully and in a nice place away from things. Sometimes, maybe one leaves the line. Revit lets you do things like this. So find some organization, some pattern with your dimensions. It's nice to have a dimension string straight across, straight down, and this takes time. So I'll right click, deactivate view, minus a few windows and things. This is basically your plan here. A few labels, and then here's your 3D view. So that's what's due of you next week. 1 hour tutorial. So it shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, please feel free to email me if you have any questions. Thank you.